Hi guys, welcome. This is Caitlin from grassfedgirl.com. I hope you're doing great today. It's awesome to see you. I am in my back room, and I don't usually go in here, but I'm trying it out today. Seems like we got some pretty good light. So I'm going to be answering the questions that I got from Instagram this week. I got a lot of questions, so I'm going to go over them. And if you have any more, just go ahead and leave them over in the chat box, and I will answer those too. So there's big news this week. I got a big project done. So I finally put out my ebook that I've been working on for the past year, and I've been telling you guys that I've been working on it. So here it is, the Carnivore Diet Challenge, 30-day Carnivore Diet Challenge. It is a labor of love, and you can get it at carnivore30.info, and I'll put the link down in the description box, but carnivore30.info, and it's 182 pages, 2 meal plans. One of the meal plans is on the go, and one of the meal plans is cooking at home. We have 26 recipes. We have all these printables, so you can print out your starting information, and you can print out shopping lists. There's so many things to print out at the end. You can print out, and we just worked on it so long. So I'm just so excited about it. It has lots and lots of pictures. It has 32, I think, FAQ questions. Has my sister helped me write it. She is got a family, and so how to do it with a family is really good. That's my sister. She's so cute. And there we are together. Aww. So we worked on this every day for like a year, and it was so much work. We talk about kind of the history, some of the science. This is really a practical guide for how to get started on the carnivore diet, who it's good for, where's the rules. These are the rules. So we have a couple tweaks in the carnivore diet that we think that will help you be more successful and planning for success. And I made a lot of these graphics, how to get started. And I use those from Instagram. The ones I make for Instagram, I use them in the book. And so these are common mistakes. So I know it's going to be backwards for you guys. Then we compare the nutrition from the standard American diet to the carnivore diet. So we compare the nutrition on that. Then we just have practical implementation. So that's how to get started on it. Then we have a carnivore pyramid. We have knowing your fats. Can you see which fats to use? What's a typical day look like? What's your meal plan kind of thing? Thank you so much, Keith and Adrian. Thank you. So animal superfoods, what are the superfoods? I mean, it's just gray area foods, explanation on that. And then which ones are the gray area foods? Foods to avoid. Avoid the veggies. See, that little kid doesn't want to eat his veggies. And then we have carnivore swaps, navigating the grocery store. And let's see, what's that one? Then we have budgeting tips and shopping lists and eating out tips, what to order when you eat out, all the different restaurants, food when you're on the go, travel tips, dealing with special occasions and holidays, sugar cravings, everything we could think of to help you guys get started. And then, like I said, you get the free coaching just for January. We're going to do for January, we're going to have a private group, and it's going to be every day we're going to go live and tell you and coach you and help you and answer all your questions. So that's going to be a private group, and that comes with the book. So when you buy the book, you're going to get the coaching included. So we're going to help you through January and getting started, and we're going to start the group on January 1st. So I hope that's helpful. So you can get that at carnivore30.com, carnivore30.info. and .com wasn't available. So we got .info. All right. Thank you, Melanie. Okay, Melanie has a question. I've been carnivore for the past 8 months. Recently developed IBS. Any suggestions? So Melanie, did you have IBS before? Because that seems hard to believe that you got it from eating carnivore. So give me some more details and I can help you, hopefully. All right, well, let me find these questions from Instagram. Oh yeah, I took a picture of all of them. So if you're from Instagram, I'm really active on Instagram on a daily basis. So make sure you follow me on Instagram at Grassfed Girl. So it's just at Grassfed Girl, and I answer a lot of the stuff. Okay, so I Love Life Naturally says getting enough fat to combat carb and sweet cravings. How do you get enough fat to combat carb and sweet cravings? Well, I mean, you have to choose fatty cuts of meat. So it's important to choose your fattier cuts. Try to get more fat ground beef, ground chuck, something like that. You can eat some eggs, egg yolks. You can make sure your salt is high enough. If you don't have enough salt, then you're going to be having cravings all the time. And I don't know how long she's been doing carnivore, but that's a big thing. And making sure your sleep is dialed in. Just eating enough. You want your protein and fat together. So just eating enough. Maybe you're not eating enough because if you're hungry, then you didn't eat enough, and you're going to be craving stuff. And if you didn't sleep good, you're going to be craving stuff. So you got to dial all that in, and then sometimes I'll eat some steak and it's not fatty enough, and then I'll go and I'll eat some eggs, or I'll put some butter, or ghee or butter on the top of the steak and eat that with it, because it's just like, you just have that feeling you're just not fat, you're just not satisfied, And sometimes steak is too lean, and sometimes ground beef is too lean. It has to be, the more fattier cuts. All right, somebody says they have problems with boredom. I think maybe you're just not letting yourself get hungry enough. And I mean, sometimes carnivore is not right for everybody. Like, maybe it's not right for you. I mean, if you're really trying it, I'm not bored. I get excited because I try different cuts. Like this week, if you're watching on Instagram, I got flat meat, I think it was. And so I tried a new cut. So that was exciting. Sometimes I try different, like short ribs or boneless short ribs, or sometimes you can go to like a Hispanic market or a Asian market, and you can find some different cuts that you don't see normally in your grocery store. And I think it's fun to like challenge yourself, try a different animal, try a goat, try a sheep, try veal, just kind of challenge yourself and think outside the box and make some new stuff. Sometimes when I get bored, I just try a different cut that I never tried before, or I try a different way of cooking it. So maybe I would sear it, or, cook it on the grill and then I broil it, or vice versa, switch it to outside, or something like that. So that's a way to get over boredom. You can also, mix it up, try some different spices. It's a good way. Try some spices, try some Indian spices, try some Thai spices, try some like Asian, like adobo or something like that, if you can tolerate spices. Okay, so Melanie says yes. So she's saying that her IBS is flaring up after being carnivore for 8 months. So that's Melanie. Yes, I had it before, but recently it's getting worse. Well, I think that, maybe something stressful is going on in your life. I mean, diet is not the end all be all of everything. So maybe something stressful is happening in your life and you're reacting to that. I mean, I know my mother has a lot of like fast digestion, and whenever she gets stressed, like she's just running to the bathroom. And then when she calms herself down, she's like fine again. So, I mean, it's not always what you eat, but she has been doing carnivore and she said it helped. Now she's not having that anymore. So, let's see. I mean, I'm trying to think, Melanie, tell me a little bit more detail about your situation because, have you moved? Have you started a new job? Or, something like that can be your big change, just a change in your relationship. Things like that can start it all up again. And maybe you have too much fat. That can also be a big thing. You have too much rendered fat can make you have diarrhea. I'm like the worst person to ask about diarrhea because I'm like the opposite. But maybe some of my friends have told me when they eat too much fat, they have problems with fast digestion or just no digestion, just straight through, like a garden hose. That's really what's going on. Okay, so Amy says, I've been carnivore for a month and I love it. I've lost weight, the scales have gone down, but my body fat has gone up. Am I eating the wrong food? Too much fat, maybe? I think, Amy, what are you using to measure your body fat? Because I doubt that's true. I mean, I have this like janky deck like thing like this that I had from when I was personal trainer, and it's just, some days it's up, some days it's down. I just don't trust those things. And even a scale, really the only way you're going to know is to do like a DEXA scan. And, almost every single person I've talked to has said that they got more muscle from doing carnivore. So maybe you just need to try a different method of measuring your body fat, and go by your measurements. Like take an old-fashioned measuring tape, the soft ones, and just measure. And how's your clothes fitting? How's your jeans fitting? And how are you feeling? I mean, don't just worry about some arbitrary, weird measurer that's like, and those things can change based on your hydration. So if you are dehydrated, it can give you a bad result. So keep that in mind. Keith Lobo says, my wife has healed her ulcerative colitis since going carnivore. She does no dairy, mostly red meat with occasional avocado. Yeah, I mean, I think some people can tolerate avocados. I get like heartburn, but I think that's from the guacamole, like the onion and stuff in that. Tomato, maybe. I think it's onion, or the cilantro. I know cilantro and parsley will give me like heartburn. That's amazing. I mean, ulcerative colitis is so expensive. I mean, I have a friend who takes Remicade and it's like $10,000 a year or something insane. So that's so amazing. I mean, and people talk about how carnivore is expensive. Like, well, try paying for Remicade, So the cost, and a lot of that stuff's not covered by insurance. Insurance sucks anyway. Like, I have pretty okay insurance, but you still have to pay a huge deductible before you can do anything. Okay, Electric Tyrone. Okay, PJJ says, does it take a few days to get over the indigestion? First days, eggs, grated Parmesan, dinner, ribeye. I mean, it depends on if you started keto, you might be a little more adapted to it, but it's a lot of fat for somebody who's coming off a standard American diet. So it could be the fat. You could add some enzymes, but most people say after about a month or so, their digestion goes back to normal. Electric Tyrone says, what do you say about eating too much protein? I say just don't worry about it. I don't like measuring. I don't think it's a problem, but if you're eating, I would say too low fat is your biggest problem. So you don't want to get, and you'll feel it. You won't feel well if you eat too much lean protein. You'll feel weird and you won't feel satisfied. You'll feel like full, but still hungry, like a weird feeling. So, and you need a bunch of fat to have your fat soluble vitamins to be digested and absorbed. So you want to make sure that you get enough fat. But if you're talking about as far as like in keto with the ratios and, having gluconeogenesis, I'd say don't worry about it. I mean, when I was doing keto and I was pretty much gaining weight. It was because I was eating so much fat and so much fat bombs and all that kind of stuff because I was limiting my protein. So I just really don't believe that you can gain weight on the protein. And I just don't worry about it. If you ever put in your day on a calculator, it should be probably about 60-40 or 50-50 fat to protein without even trying too hard. So that's what I think about that. 6 hours dessert. What do you mean dessert? You're not supposed to have dessert. PJ says dessert. 6 hours of painful digestion. Do you mean just like that was your dessert? Like, so I don't get it. Keith LeBeau says, absolutely, stress is a huge factor for IBS. Yes, that's what I was talking about earlier. Okay, Amy Stewart says, yes, it was one of those body scans. Well, then I would say, what was it the first time? Was it the same body scan? And then Amy Stewart says, I do feel better. Was just worried I might be eating the wrong foods. I'll stick with it. What are you eating in the day? Okay, that's the lady who says her body fat is going up. Melanie, that's the lady from earlier, a change. I needed to adjust my meds for my thyroid for hypothyroidism. Yes, that's a big thing. Thank you. I will try to keep my stress down. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, just try to sleep a lot and rest, especially over the holidays. But your thyroid, whenever you change your thyroid medication, I mean, you're just going to be, that's a big period of adjustment. It can take a few weeks or months even to get your thyroid medication right. And, you want to watch out for something like a heart palpitations, feeling just like speedy. That means you're got too much medication. So it can be a hard time to get that right. And your thyroid runs your motility as well. So if your motility is off and your thyroid is off, then you're just going to be messed up. So Daniel Smith says, hi from New Zealand. No such thing as too much protein. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think you should worry about it. I just worry that anybody would eat too much lean protein. I mean, back when I was doing low-fat diets, I eat a ton of like turkey breast from the deli or things like that. It was just so yuck. So I just want you to make sure you're getting enough fat along with your protein so that you don't feel kind of depleted and off and stuff. So, all right. So that's all the comments in there. So let's go back to these Instagram questions. All right. Keto It Girl. Getting restful sleep. Think I'm in deep ketosis for too long? So you mean getting restful sleep. So I guess that's, okay, this is a challenge. So she has a challenge, getting restful sleep. My question was, what is your biggest challenge on carnivore? So she says her challenge is getting restful sleep. I think I'm in deep ketosis for too long. I mean, if you're in deep ketosis, you're probably going to sleep great. So that doesn't make much sense. For me, the biggest factor with sleep and carnivore is electrolytes. I will wake up in the middle of the night if I have to take 2 teaspoons or at least like 1 teaspoon of salt before bed, or else I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep. So I intentionally take salt before I go to bed. So, and there's so many things that are with sleep. You have to make sure your blinds are completely blacked out. You can't have screens in the bed. You've got to just really dial it in sometimes. And, you can get some orange goggles. That's helpful. All right. Okay, this is Missy G. Malone. She says, needing a crunchy snack at night while I watch TV. So that's a challenge for her. She wants a crunchy snack while she watches TV. I mean, you can do pork rinds, but I think you just try to get out of that snacky mindset. I mean, just eat a big dinner and eat enough to where you're really full, put plenty of salt on your food, and if you're really full, you're not going to be thinking about food at all a few minutes after that. So then sometimes what I do if I'm still hungry after I eat, maybe I think it's enough, I will just go and fry up a couple of eggs with lots of salt and butter or ghee, and I will eat that. And then it's like, ooh, I'm so full. There's no way. And you can crunch up that egg sometimes and get it. I just love the way that okay. I just love the way that crispy egg tastes sometimes on a fried egg. All right. There's another question about finding variety. Curly Carnin and 11. Finding variety and being satisfied with some meals. I mean, we kind of already talked about that. Just change up your meat, eat more fat, eat more protein. I think sometimes people try to have that keto mindset of like small, like 4 ounces of protein on the plate with some broccoli and some, maybe a pat of butter. And that it's not like that. You need like 12 ounces of meat or 16 ounces of meat or more if you're a big man or something like that. So just get out of that keto mindset of having this like tiny little portion of meat, like so dainty, and then thinking, oh, I should be full on that. That's that old mindset. So you got to shift that around, and maybe you got to dial in your meal timing. Like my meal timing is like 10, 11, and then about 5 or 6. Like last night I ate at dinner really late, and today I was really full, so I didn't eat till 12. I didn't eat anything till 12. Now I'm really full again because I ate the leftovers. We went to a steakhouse last night, and we went to Ruth Chris. They actually have a keto menu, so that was fun to try that. But I mean, really, it's obvious what's keto. But it's nice that they pointed it out on a special menu, But what I wish they had was like a keto cheesecake or something, but not that I would order it. You're right. Keto cheesecake at a steakhouse is like my kryptonite. So I understand Keith LeBeau says, I've been battling thoughts of cheating on a holiday trip next week. I've been rigid for 6 months. I did a video about this the other day with somebody. I don't remember. But Keith, is it like, are you staying at all inclusive? What are you staying in? What kind of place? That will tell me more about what your options are for food or where you're going. But I say you have to keep it gluten-free. You have to keep it sugar-free. And I think if you do that and you're on a special trip and you just have to know yourself, like, is it going to turn into a free-for-all and, an alcohol binge? And, what are your parameters? Are you going to have one cheat day on the last day, or are you going to have one dessert, or is it going to be, binge fest for the whole entire week? I mean, you have to know yourself what you can handle. Or are you going to say, screw it, I'm just going to eat whatever, and then I'm going to get back on. And you just have to come to terms with what's right for you and what you feel is good for you. I've done both ways. I've been really strict and I felt really good on trips. And then other times I would say, I'm just going to eat this. But I see you say, be very selective. Don't become like a trash can. Like my biggest love is cheesecake. So, if I want to eat a couple bites of cheesecake, I'm not going to like give myself a lot of grief over that, but don't just eat any old thing, be really particular. Say I'm going to have this one thing and it's my favorite thing and it's the only time. And I don't know if you're from Europe or if you're from America, but I mean, going to Spain, and that's really my hardest challenge, is because me and my husband do love to travel. And if I'm in a country that I don't know, that I'm not going to be in again for maybe the rest of my life, possibly, it's very hard to say no. But it's certain things. like a certain dessert or something like that. I mean, when we went to Italy a couple years ago, and I mean, the portions were so insane and the meat portions were so huge. I mean, I think it would have been easy to be carnivore. I wasn't. I was more like keto or paleo then, but it was so much meat. And that's great that you're having an Airbnb. So Keith says he's getting an Airbnb. That's my favorite because I'll put a link down for Airbnb in the description. I always try to get an Airbnb so I can cook, and that saves you a lot of money. You also get a lot of good food. You can, I mean, some of the funnest things are going through the shopping, the open air malls, marts, the farmers markets, and getting all that stuff and bringing it home. That is just so fun, and so I don't know, Keith, it's up to you. Just be really particular, I think, about what you decide is your cheat, and just know yourself whether you can handle that or not. The only thing I would be worried about is like getting home and not going back on carnivore if you feel like that's the best for you. So that's the only thing I'd be worried about. All right, so let's go back to these other questions. So somebody said a challenge for them was the cost. So that's Andrea Corey, the cost. And I mean, I was talking about this a minute ago. I'm so thirsty. This is my generic LaCroix from Aldi. I love Aldi. So the cost, what is the cost? I feel like the cost of not going carnivore is what you have to think about. So if you're not carnivore, what's going to happen? Or if you're not keto, or if you're just not following, I mean, I believe in an ancestral approach. So if you're not following an ancestral approach to nutrition, what is the cost of not doing that? The cost is diabetes, cancer. So those things are going to be very expensive. So I feel like, to me, that's where I want to put my money. I spend a lot on food, but actually I think I spent more. I used to spend more when I was doing keto and paleo. I was spending so much money on chocolate, kombucha, treats, vegetables, that were going bad and spoiling, that, they didn't get made or they didn't get eaten. So those are all things you have to think about. A head of broccoli is $5. So organic broccoli is, so I mean, that's a big cost. You can buy a ribeye for $10. So I'd rather have the ribeye, wouldn't you? All right, next page. BMK Awesome says, sugar-free chocolate cravings, Diet Coke cravings, quitting coffee. I plan to go hard in January. Yeah, I mean, planning for January is good. You can join my coaching group, Carnivore30.info. Whoop, whoop. So sugar-free cravings are a challenge, chocolate cravings and Diet Coke cravings. When I interviewed Brett from Thankful Carnivore, and he was talking about how you have to have no sweet taste. He doesn't even believe you should have toothpaste. So the more sweet taste that you have, the more your sugar cravings are going to kick up. And of course, Diet Coke also has some other things, like those sweeteners are very addictive for some people. They're very stimulating, the caffeine too. So I think Diet Coke is a special kind of terrible. So try to do whatever you can to get off of that, even if you're not carnivore. So sweet cravings, this is Gracie is Living Life. I actually talked to her some. Gracie is Living Life, definitely carb cravings, sweets, and extra dairy. So I have a video about dairy. Is dairy right for carnivore? And I forgot to write the pros of dairy, or to go over the pros of dairy. So it's mostly the bad things. Because I don't really do well with dairy. So, again, electrolytes are sometimes the biggest thing. If your electrolytes are off, that may be misinterpreted as a signal for tweets. And there's a delicate balance of your water and salt, so you have to make sure that that's right. And sweets, carbs. So she was telling me on Instagram that she will go out and buy chocolate and honey and stuff like that. And even if she gets rid of it, she goes and buys it again. And I think you have to look also at, maybe the rest of your life. What's tipping you off to do that? Maybe she's unhappy with her job or her family situation or living situation. Maybe there's it can be as deep as like a truth you need to tell. It gets a little deep there, but what is on your heart that's making you feel that way, Gracie? I wonder. So, all right, let's go back over here. John Chapman says, hello, Caitlin, can you discuss what may cause lightheadedness? Well, how many days are you into carnivore? So you might feel a little lightheaded. You actually have to be very proactive about taking your sea salt or Redmond salt. You have to actually ingest it. So you can't just put it on your food. That's not enough. So that is probably why you're lightheaded. And there is just an adjustment period in general. So 2-3 weeks of feeling kind of yuck is normal. But again, it's mostly electrolyte imbalance. So you have to make sure you're getting that up. John Chapman. So you can put maybe a 1/4 teaspoon in like an 8-ounce glass of water. You won't even taste it, and it will just drink that throughout the day, and that will help you to feel better. Okay, so Keith is telling me a little bit more about his trip. We're an American living in Germany for 5 years. Thanks for all your advice. You're a big support to us. Oh, thank you so much. I'm jealous of you expats. I think that's our future someday when maybe my parents are not around or something. And my sister has 2 little kids, so it's hard for us to imagine leaving. So Joe Kim, how do you say that? Joaquin, as like Joaquin Phoenix? I don't know. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Melvin J. Robertson says, I bet you're getting some good grass-fed beef in Germany. Yeah, I guess he's talking to Keith. That must be, the food in Europe is just so much better and so much it just looks so much better, and they take so much pride in it, Electric Tyrone says the cost for carnivore is not that bad if you can get the best non-grass-fed meats you can. Costco is great. Yes, Costco is awesome. I love Costco. I go there a lot. It's too far though. It's like 30 minutes from our house. So it's like a whole big excursion. And we all like ask each other, well, do you want something from Costco? Because it's like a big haul. Yeah, you just have to make your best call about grass-fed and grass-finished. One of the problems with grass-fed I find is the fat content is it's really hard to get enough fat content, and I get frustrated. I cannot eat super lean beef, so I do a mix. I eat some grass-fed beef and I eat some regular beef. Melvin J. Robertson, why is the Costco beef good? Costco beef is it's just consistent. They have high quality. They have a lot of sales, so nothing's sitting around. Actually, if you want a better deal, Sam's is way cheaper. So if you have a Sam's, my sisters compared all the cuts and all the prices, and Sam's is, I think they have more variety at Sam's too. And you could even call ahead at Sam's and request certain cuts. I got those flanken, the ones that are like the Korean short ribs. Oh my God, they're so good in the air fryer. They're so good. Yes, I agree. Electric Tyrone. Yeah, the prices are pretty good and the quality is pretty high. Michelle Elizabeth says, how do you eat your beef suet? I mean, I have gotten some, I bought some, but I didn't really dig into it yet because I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. But my friends eat it and they said they just keep it in the freezer and they just trim off a little bit of it, kind of chunks off, and then they just eat it like that. So you can do it like that. And they said it's sweet. I have not really, I haven't opened it. Mine's like vacuum packed, and a Costco membership, the cheapest Costco membership is about $50. But if you do the higher one, it's like $100, but you usually get that back if you shop there a lot. So Kristen D says, hi, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Everybody tell me where you're watching from. I already know about Keith is in Germany, trying to make us all jealous. Okay. Wonder, do you need to take magnesium while you do long fasting? I mean, you definitely need to have more electrolytes. So in my new book that I was telling you about, we have an electrolyte drink recipe, and we have 26 recipes in our book. So at the end, there is a recipe for electrolytes, an electrolyte drink that my sister makes, and she drinks it all the time, just constantly. So, yes. Keith says that the quality in Europe is much better for beef. European foods, I said that, okay. Just $60 for Costco membership. Okay, Kristen D says, I bought lamb fat as well, but haven't done anything with it either in the freezer. I'm surprised people eat it raw. Well, the suet, the beef suet, I think so. Lamb, I don't know. Lamb seems like it would be more gamey. That would be a little rough. I don't think that would be good. Yeah. I mean, mine's a big hunk. If I put it in the air fryer, Michelle Elizabeth said, girl, you have to give it a go. I crisp it up in the air fryer for 4 minutes. Amazing. What? I mean, it's just all fat. Wouldn't it just melt completely? I don't get it. Okay, Melanie says she's calling from Montreal, watching from Montreal. I'm calling. I went to Montreal last year, and it's really nice. I was in the fall, in October, and it was really nice. I ate downtown in the old village or whatever, the old town part. And we went on that Ferris wheel thing. My husband's brother lives up there. And my husband speaks French, so he gets along a little better. But of course, everyone there speaks English too. All right. Gail. Gail says, I'm finding I can get by with 1 pound grass-fed meat lately. I've been watching my calories lately, and the weight is finally coming off. I'm keeping an eye on my fat also so that I'm not too low. Oh, yeah? So what is your calorie threshold then, Gail? That's interesting. I think most people would do like fasting over calorie counting. Are you doing fasting also, Gail? All right, John says, I started carnivore around 3rd week in October. I am diabetic and no longer using insulin. I go and have blood work done in January to have my A1C tested. Tiff in Ohio. All right. Buckeye State. Whoop, whoop. That's awesome. No longer diabetic. So you were type 2 diabetic. That's amazing that you came off your insulin. That is just, doctors don't want to hear that. They're like, we need our customers, Okay, Michelle's telling me to cut it up into little pieces and that holds together. All right, well, I mean, I like that, so I'll try it. Anybody want to send me a super chat? I've never tried that before. If you want to try it, that'd be awesome. Because this takes a lot of energy. I'll probably need a nap after this, believe it or not. But that's how it goes when you have hypothyroidism. Everything takes like a lot of energy. All right. Kristen says, great job, Gail and John. You guys are making me hungry. I'm so full. I ate those 2 giant ribeyes for lunch. Like, it was our leftovers from the dinner. I can show you a picture of it. It was so huge. Okay, there's my lunch. That was our leftovers from dinner. We had that seafood tower at Ruth Chris, and it was so full from that I just couldn't eat the steak. All right. So Electric Tyrone says Maryland. That's cool. I used to live in Annapolis, Maryland, and for a summer, and they have the best crab cakes. That's for sure. I did figure out how to make crab cakes. You know, the other day I made them when there was just crab, egg, and that's it, and like some garlic and paprika and stuff. And there was actually a recipe in my book. In the book, it's sardine cakes, so I can find them for you. It was sardine cakes, but you could do it with crab because it was so easy. And you don't need coconut flour, you don't need anything. And oh my gosh, they were so good. And fry them in ghee. Oh my gosh, like they were so good. So there's the recipe part of the book. So that is, there they are in the top left. We do allow mustard in our book. So, so you can make salmon, you can use canned salmon, canned sardines, or crab if you have the cashola. So, all right, those are so good. And they were crispy. I want to have them again before Christmas. So Sue Perry 59 says, I've had a hard time losing weight on keto, then carnivore, have been advised to do keto carnivore. I'm surprised to just let myself eat to satiety. I mean, you just have to go back and think about the inflammatory foods and how much weight you can gain when you eat inflammatory foods. And when you don't eat inflammatory foods, you'll lose weight. And I mean, I'd say just for a month, let yourself eat to satiety and then reassess. You know, it's not the rest of your life. You don't have to say, I'm going to pig out for the rest of my life. I mean, I know what it's like. I was super afraid too that I would gain weight, but I lost about 20 pounds when I started carnivore. So, you know, for a few weeks, you're going to know what your body's doing. You can see it on a daily basis. So, just give it a go. And I mean, I just say do carnivore completely. Like I said, I wrote a book about it, so you can get my book, and then you'll know, and then you'll be in our coaching group that's starting in January. It's going to be a private coaching group, so I will help you. And I thought your fat from being overweight is the fat you want to burn. Why add fat if you're eating a lot of fat from ribeye steak? I mean, I don't think you have to add fat to a ribeye steak, but I'm saying some people will eat really lean meat and they will not feel well, and they'll be too low in immune supporting fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, K, E. So that can make you feel super sick. And I think that's why I got autoimmune disease in the first place, because I was eating no fat diet. So you have to be careful with that, because your immune system will go really haywire if you don't have enough of those. But what I worry is people eating like lean chicken breast and that's it, you know, and thinking that's carnivore. And I don't agree with that. I think you can eat meat in its normal state and it'll probably be okay. But I do think you should choose some more fattier cuts. All right, that's from Pam. Michelle Elizabeth, Palm Bay, Florida. Is that my friend from Instagram? I have a friend. No, her name is Lorelei, something like that. She's from Palm Bay, I think. Or no, that's my friend. I have a lot of friends from Florida. Gets confusing. Okay, Gail Nielsen, keeping it lower than what I burn in a day, using my Instant Pot at work. That's good. They bring your. So how did you come up with that number, though? That's nice. You get to use your Instant Pot at work. You must work somewhere really understanding. Kristen D, canned crab is so good. Can you please put the link for your book, or what's the website again? So it's carnivore30.info. So carnivore30, just the number 30.info. And I'll put it down in the description when we finish this video too. And all right. Crab, eggs, seasoning, and pork rinds help hold it together. Well, I don't eat a lot of pork, so I didn't want to do pork rinds, but did you watch my video? Michelle Elizabeth says, have you had issues with histamines on carnivore? I don't think I have, but I learned more about histamines this week. I did a video with Becky Campbell, who's a histamine expert, and she wrote a book about it. So there was a lot of symptoms that I wasn't really aware of could be histamines. So maybe. But watch that video. You will learn a lot about that if you didn't already. Thank you for doing this Q&A. Been carnivore for 4 months and loving it. Love all your recipes. So helpful. Oh, good. I have one for some short ribs. I'm thinking I'm going to put up to tomorrow or Monday if I can get it done. Gail says, I have been fasting anywhere between 12 and 14 hours or longer if I can't get to eat at work when I needed to. Yeah, well, that's pretty normal. I mean, I think most people do that naturally on carnivore without trying too hard. Sue Perry says, thanks. Just so discouraging when others are doing well and nothing seems to work for me. Appreciate all your videos and we'll definitely get your book. Thank you, Sue. That means a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, I think just have to get off the scale. Just don't focus on that for a while and just focus on feeling good. And I mean, even if you don't lose weight, like I'm not losing weight right now, but I'm kind of just in a holding pattern and I'm okay with it because my skin is good. I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping good. I'm feeling great. So, whatever. I'm doing my exercise in the mornings and I'm walking and, like weight loss isn't everything. I've been a lot sicker. I've been a lot more overweight. I've been a lot more messed up and, maybe it will happen again soon when I'm ready for it to happen. So Gail says, I use my Fitbit app to keep track. I mean, I just can't do that right now. Maybe someday, but I just tracked for so long and worried about every little calorie and every little thing. So I just can't do that right now. So I vote no. My mental health is worth more than that to me. So John Chapman, I went for a wellness check and the nurse practitioner got upset with me when I told her I was only eating meat. She said I would get malnutrition and get sick. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to choose your audience, John. I go to a holistic nurse practitioner here in Nashville, and I didn't even tell her either. I think I kind of glossed over it. And they're even holistic, and I didn't feel comfortable to tell them because I was also pretty new back then when I went for the first time. And I just, it's kind of like need to know information. I just don't think they're not going to understand. I mean, you might as well say like you're from outer space or something. I mean, that's the look you're going to get. So I think you just I would much prefer to say, I do low carb or I do paleo or I do keto. I think those are going to be much more acceptable ideas. And I think it's close enough for their information. They don't need to know everything about you. Doctors don't study nutrition unless they have some sort of specialized, add-on. So, you might as well be telling them what's your favorite shoes. They don't care. It's not, they act like that's their field, but it's not, So I just don't think you need to tell them unless you are experiencing some kind of sickness that you feel like it's a mystery and you need help or something like that. I mean, especially if you're new, like give it 6 months, give it 3 months at least before you, tell everything. Like, you're not going to be strong enough to take that barrage of, negativity that you're going to get after you tell them that. So that's what I would be afraid of with that. So I would say just keep it to yourself for a little while longer, and then maybe when you're feeling more confident, then you can tell them. But again, I think you just say you're low carb, and that would suffice. All right. So let's see. We have some more Instagram questions, and I got to get going soon. I'm going to acupuncture in a minute. So it's on Saturday afternoon. My favorite acupuncture is working. The lady is really, really good. She's like old school Chinese medicine acupuncturist. My challenge on carnivore is my house always smelling like ribeyes, cleaning up, and not enough time. Carolina Munera. Oh, that's funny. I use my air fryer, so a lot of the grease and the fat stays in. That's a good, you can broil in the oven if you don't have an air fryer. I use purification essential oil. I can't reach for it. Oh, here's one. This is a different one, but I use essential oils all the time. So I just put them on. You can get these down in my shop. It's grassfedoils.com. And this is frankincense. So it's cool Christmas, and like Jesus, got the frankincense and the myrrh. This is Egyptian gold. So that's a nice one. But if you use purification essential oil, my favorite blend to get rid of smells in a non-toxic way, that is my favorite. And not enough time. So you're not enough time. Well, I mean, when I don't have enough time, I just go through the Wendy's drive-through and I get me some patties. If you don't have time for that, then you need to reassess your life. If you don't have time to make yourself some scrambled eggs or some hamburger patties on the stovetop, then something's wrong with your time management. So work on that. Overeating, I can still overeat meat and eggs. That bad habit lingers. So that's Mars Sagi. I think that you are probably not overeating, because I just can't imagine that you're overeating. I mean, it's physically painful if I overeat meat and eggs. So maybe you're just not overeating. You just think you are. Just don't beat yourself up. You're going to be eating more than you used to. You're not going to be eating all those green beans and broccoli and cauliflower and all that stuff. So, and then I think after a month or 2 or 3, it's going to level out, and you're going to go back to like a regular amount. And, a regular amount might be 2 pounds. Like, that's going to feel like overeating, but you're probably not. And then, of course, add more salt to your food. Giving up heavy whipping cream in my coffee. That's from Bam Keto Fam. That is a big one. What I do is I put 1 tablespoon of ghee in a big pot of coffee, and I put it in my blender, and I go bzz, and I put collagen or gelatin in that, and then I make like a ghee latte kind of thing. And I have a video for that. So try that instead, because that's what I found is much better. And then I don't get addicted to that cream all day long. That to me is I'll end up with 1,000 calories of cream. So, and then some of the other ones I have are just about dealing with family situations and the holidays and traveling and stuff like that. So I have a video about traveling. Watch my video about traveling. That was from Pure Paleo. So watch my video about traveling. And then for dealing with special occasions, make sure that you plan ahead and make a big thing of protein. So like for Christmas, I volunteered to make a brisket in the oven, and I'm excited about that. So I will be making the brisket, and I'm going to bring that. There's also going to be ham, which I don't really care for. So I can eat my brisket, and the ham will be for whoever else wants that. And then I know that's going to be there. So I'll just eat that, and I will be happy. So it might cost you a little more to volunteer to bring something that you can eat, but at least you'll know and you'll be able to calm down and relax and just fill yourself up um, with that. And just planning ahead and eating something you really like. So, like at Thanksgiving, we made a roast, the prime rib roast, and that was really nice and special. And my birthday is coming up, and I want to have the filet with the hollandaise for my birthday. That's what we're gonna have. My dad's gonna cook it, and so I'm excited about that. So just plan ahead a little bit. Sean. Okay, we already talked about that one. Daniel Smith, I don't tell my doctor anything. However, I've been sick twice this year. I've only been sick twice this year. Yeah, I haven't gotten sick either since I've been carnivore. It's weird. So, I mean, I wasn't ever sick that much, not like with a cold, not like chronic illness. I didn't get a cold. And, now we're starting on winter, so we'll see. But so far, so good. CBD, what CBD oil is good? The only one I've really used is Santa Cruz Medicinals. They sent me a ton of their stuff, and I used it a lot. One of their ones was a pain cream, and I like that a lot. So you can find that on Instagram, Santa Cruz Medicinals. But I find I have barely any aches and pains. I mean, I have barely anything wrong with me, so I don't see the need for CBD oil unless you have some kind of chronic pain. But if you're doing carnivore, then I think your pain's going to go away. So I used to use collagen creamer too. It was amazing and delicious, but I gained weight from the coconut powder. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to have coconut. If I do have it, coconut, it's like once in a very, very long time. I don't like to have coconut every day because I want to keep it as clean as possible. Yes, brisket. Can you make some organ meat recipes? Michelle Elizabeth says, can you make some organ meat recipes? I have a pate. Did you watch that video? I made the pate, so watch the pate. And that's pretty much all you need. And then I made some sauteed chicken livers on Instagram this week. Chicken livers so much better. Sleep de Mouse says, how can someone on a carnivore diet gain weight without risking too much iron? Well, if you want to gain weight, I'd say try some raw milk, try some cheese. Those are going to be more of your anabolic foods. You're going to gain weight. So try that. You can even add some honey, but I don't know, that freaks me out. But if you don't have a problem with that, then you could try that. And that's not going to have iron like red meat will. Do you have that thing where do you have to give blood because you have too much iron? Is that your problem? Sleep de Mouse? You could always give more blood, I guess. Daniel Smith said, I'll be a year in carnivore in February. Yay, Daniel. I just had my carnivore 14 months. No, in December. Yeah, 14 months. So I'm just a little ahead of you. Daniel, I can't eat dairy. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess it's honey then. More fat, more honey. Can't eat dairy then. I don't know. You stumped me. I mean, just give it some time. Sleep de Mouse says he's only been doing it for 2.5 weeks. A lot of times people just see their body composition leveling out by itself. So once you heal your gut, you'll be able to absorb more of what you're eating, and then you might gain weight just naturally. You'll just get more muscular just naturally. So just give it a little bit. Just give it a little time. You're too impatient. All right, Kristen D says, to be honest, I still put a teaspoon of maple syrup in my coffee. That's the only sugar I eat. I'd say you probably don't like coffee then. If you have to put sugar in it, I'd say you probably don't like coffee. So have you tried just heavy cream and alone? Because that is my favorite. I don't even need the teaspoon of coffee, of sugar or maple syrup. All right, guys, we'll have to go to my acupuncture. It has been great, and I really enjoy talking to you guys. And please get my book, and make sure you do it before January 1st, because we're going to be having is it going to come up? This thing goes to sleep by itself. We're going to be having the coaching group. And so this is my book. This is the recipes section. We have 26 recipes, and www.carnivore30.info, and you can get my book, and then you'll be added to our private Facebook group, which is our private coaching group. It's only for people who bought the book. So you'll only get the info on the coaching group if you buy the book. So I hope that makes sense. And it's been great talking to you guys, and I'll come and do this again soon, or you can always write me on Instagram at grassfedgirl, and I will answer you there too. All right, so please subscribe to my channel, share this with a friend, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.